Germany has finally agreed to help Ukraine in the war against the barbarism of Russian dictator Vlamidir Putin. The chaos started by Putin 11 months ago, on the 24th of February 2022, has destroyed most of Ukraine, killing 42,295 people and destroying properties worth $350 billion. Many countries want to help Ukraine, but are terrified of making Russia their enemy. But Germany decided to come forward in solidarity with the Ukrainians. How can Germany help Ukraine win the war? And what does German foreign minister have to say about Putin? Hit that like button as we talk about Putin's murderous attack on the people of Ukraine and why Germany has announced the war against Russia. It has been almost a year since Russia decided to wage an unjust war against its neighbor country Ukraine. The invasion of Ukraine by Putin's government has left a trail of devastation in its wake. The World Bank, the Ukrainian government, and the European Commission have reported that the direct damages from the conflict have exceeded $97 billion. The cost of rebuilding and reconstructing as what been lost could reach a staggering $349 billion, a sum equivalent to 1.6 times Ukraine's gross domestic product for 2021. On the other side of the war is also devastating for Russian citizens. In November, Miley put a number of dead and wounded Russian soldiers at 100,000 people. The Russian military has lost significant amounts of equipment. The Oryx website reports 8,000 pieces of equipment are destroyed, damaged, abandoned, or captured, including some 1,500 tanks, 700 armored fighting vehicles, and 1,700 infantry fighting vehicles. Neither Russian citizens nor the Russian army is happy with Putin's radical military actions. United States has constantly supported Ukraine in this difficult situation with the enemy like Russia, which is far more powerful in its military operations. But now, many European countries are also coming forward in solidarity with the people of Ukraine. Germany has recently announced that they are going to offer full military support to Ukraine to fight the barbaric Russian dictator. Germany has decided to send 14 Leopard 2 A6 tanks from its own stocks. The Leopard 2 A6 tank is a German-made tank used for modern warfare. It is equipped with the state-of-the-art technology and advanced armor protection. The Leopard 2 A6 has been used in multiple NATO missions and is known for its superior firepower and mobility. It is a further development of the 2A5, and it was greatly improved over its predecessor and is currently one of the best main battle tanks in the world. Though Berlin has declared war against Putin, but no one wants to fight with the Russian alone. Germany had said that the Leopards would not be sent unless the US put its Abrams on the table, not wanting to incur Russia's wrath without the US similarly committing its own tanks. Fortunately, America immediately responded to Germany's decision. President Biden announced shortly after Germany that the US will send 31 M1 Abrams battle tanks to Ukraine. Though the White House National Security spokesman, John F. Kirby, declined to pinpoint when the Abrams will be delivered, but said the German-made Leopards are expected to make their way to Ukrainian forces more quickly. The deployment also suggests that the U.S. and its allies are girdling to support Ukraine for a long war that shows no signs of coming to an end. For the Abrams to be effective in Ukraine, its forces will require extensive training on the combined arms maneuver, how the tanks operate together on the battlefield, and how to obtain and support the complex 70-ton weapon. The Abrams tanks use a turbine jet engine that burns through fuel whether moving or idling, at least 2 gallons a mile when on the move, which means that a network of fuel trucks is needed to keep the line moving. When they get there, we want to make sure they fall on ready hands and that they've got Ukrainians that know how to use them. They know how to keep them running, and they've got the supply chain in place for spare parts and supplies, and anything else they need so that they can be more effective on the battlefield, Kirby said. Rigorous training requirement of Abrams was the reason why the U.S. government was reluctant of sending their tanks to Ukraine, saying that the tanks were too difficult for the Ukrainian troops to operate and maintain, but after Germany's request, Biden decided to change his decision. Biden also said that the European allies have agreed to send 62 battle-ready tanks to equip 2 Ukrainian tank battalions. With spring approaching, Ukrainian forces are working to defend the territory that they hold and preparing for additional counteroffensives, Biden said in this announcement of his decision to send the tanks. To liberate their land, they need to be able to counter Russia's evolving tactics and strategy on the battlefield in the very near term. After the U.S.-Germany military aid announcement, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky applauded Biden for the powerful decision to provide Abrams, declaring on Twitter that the free world is united as never before in the 11-month-old war. Germany is also using media to raise awareness on the sheer brutality of Putin on Ukraine. German Foreign Minister Annalena Baerbock used a significant portion of her keynote address at the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council in Europe of Strasbourg, France, to defend law, democracy, and human rights in response to Russia's murderous attack on the people of Ukraine. Baerbock called for unity among Western allies following the announcement that Berlin would send Leopard 2 tanks to Ukraine. "We are fighting a war against Russia and not against each other," Baerbock said, according to the A News TV network, while adding that Germany can and should do more to defend Ukraine. Baerbock also stressed that unity remains the most crucial part in overcoming Putin's aggression. Russia's war of aggression is not only a war against Ukraine, it is a war against the common European peace and order. President Putin wants to drag Europe back into a past dominated by power politics where states can trample on the rights in the pursuit of imperial glory, where rulers dispose of their citizens like pawns in geopolitical chess games. But we have shown Putin that he would never succeed in destroying Ukraine, but that he would also never succeed in destroying our common home of peace, the Council of Europe, she said during her approximate 33-minute address. Though many people have criticized Baerbock for using inciting words like war against Russia during her speech, Professor Hilary Apple of Claremont McKenna College in California told Newsweek that Baerbock made a mistake using the word war. According to Apple, the statement serves Russia's interests as it portrays a war against NATO, not just Ukraine, and this is what Russia wants the world to believe. Russia tries to depict this as a proxy war to justify its actions, but the US and NATO allies see it as a war between Russia and Ukraine with Western support for Ukraine's defense against the unjust and unprovoked Russian invasion. But Germany seems to be firm on the decision of declaring war against Russia. FM Baerbock said, "In the face of Russia's war, neutrality was not an option. We had to make a choice between injustice and justice, freedom and oppression, between standing on the side of the aggressor and standing on the side of the victims." Germany is not the only European nation that is standing with Ukraine in this tough time. The European Union has decided to offer a major financial aid to Ukraine. Following the European Council meeting on the 21st of October in 2022, the Commission has today proposed an unprecedented support package for Ukraine of up to $18 billion for 2023. This will come in the form of highly concessional loans dispersed at regular installments as of 2023. This stable, regular, and predictable financial assistance, averaging $1.5 billion per month, will cover a significant part of Ukraine's short-term funding needs for 2023, which the Ukrainian authorities and International Monetary Fund estimate at $3 to $4 billion per month. The support put forward by the EU would need to be matched by similar efforts by other major donors in order to cover all of Ukraine's funding for 2023. Thanks to this package, Ukraine will be able to keep on paying wages and pensions and maintain essential public services running, such as hospitals, schools, and housing for relocated people. It will also allow Ukraine to ensure macroeconomic stability and restore critical infrastructure destroyed by Russia in its war of aggression, such as energy infrastructure, water systems, transport networks, roads, and bridges. Support under the instrument will be accompanied by reforms to further enhance the rule of law, good governance, anti-fraud, and anti-corruption measures in Ukraine. Therefore, while taking into account the evolution of the ground, financial support will be framed by policy conditions geared towards the strengthening Ukraine's institutions and preparing the ground for successful reconstruction effort, as well as supporting Ukraine on its European path. The effect of the Russian-Ukraine war is also triggering food shortages in countries like Ghana, Mozambique, and Kenya. The U.S. ambassador to the United Nations, Linda Thomas-Greenfield, discussed global food insecurity triggered by Russia's war in Ukraine during a lengthy trip across Africa. "We have to tackle this issue, and every country has to do more, as the U.S. cannot address the challenges alone," Thomas-Greenfield said on a call with reporters. Which country said Germany and the U.S. is helping Ukraine the most? Comment down below.